Glory be to Yah. Here we are in today's Rainbow I Ching reading. And here we have the breakdown. I used the app in order to get the information very quickly. And then I double checked the app and it is correct. And what this today's reading shows is something very, very interesting. And before we get into the reading, we'll jump into today's proverb, right? Today's proverb is, today is the 4th, January 4th. So we are on chapter 4. We read this out loud to ourselves, right? Praying the proper way Yeshua Christ said to say, in private, in secret, in our closet, right? The way he said. And that you would do that before you would go read these, right? You don't do it now, right? Because it's not private. That's not secret. So today's proverb is, put away from you a froward mouth, a mouth that is against the Lord, and perverse lips that distort the truth, put far from you. So perverse is not perverted lips, it's perverse. Let your eyes look right on, and your eyelids look straight before you. So straight before you is right on. So righteousness must be a straight path, right? Ponder the path of your feet, and let all your ways be established. Turn not to the right hand, nor to the left. To the right or left of what? Of your path. Remove your foot from evil. Why? Because, look at this. The way of the wicked is darkness. They know not at what they stumble, right? But the path of the just is as a shining light that shines more and more unto the perfect day. So if you want to walk in light, you got to walk in your path, not in the path of the wicked people. For it says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, pass away. Focus on your own path. In other words, stay in your lane. Stop being overly concerned about the path of evil men and evil people. Guess what? Their path ends in destruction and death. Do you just want to be on the sidelines just so that you know that their path ends in destruction and death? Meanwhile, you're right behind them because you're not on your path, right? So when it says to go forward, put away from you a froward mouth. To be froward is, if forward is this, then froward is anywhere else other than forward. And notice that in the difference between, ponder the path of feet, let your ways be established, right? Look your eyes right on. Let your eyelids look straight before you. Put away from your froward mouth, right? Straight before you. So this is basically saying, look forward. Do not look froward. So this is forward. This is froward. All right. Make sure you know the difference. Glory be to Yah. Hallelujah. So, moving back into today's Rainbow I Ching reading. First up, we have a little bit of heaven over. What is this? Heaven over mountain, right? Heaven over mountain. And that produces treading, which how I have this in the diagrams is a little wolf. So it just so happens that as I was rolling these dice, and I roll down the dice, Sage has to go use the restroom, right? And so I let her outside and bring her back in. So she also was literally letting her go outside, then bringing her back inside, coming to me, right? So that was literally what was happening in that moment. But when I did this I Ching reading, I was like, you know what, Father, show me what I need to see, what you would have me see and understand, right? So then it produced these other ones of the near future. And what it produces in the near future, we'll break it down in a moment of how we got this. We have got conflict, or we got opposition, then conflict, innocence, retreat, and then preponderance of the great. And if you notice here, all we need is one more dot here, and then it would be heaven over heaven, which is perfect. And this gives us a very important lesson today when we get to this. So how do we create this hexagram or this sequence of hexagrams from the I Ching? So if this eye is looking here, then it means that this one right here is going to change into its opposite. And so we'll adjust these as we go to show for now. It goes into its opposite. All right. So that produces our omegagram 38, which we see solid, broken, solid, broken, solid, solid. We see that solid, broken, solid, solid, which is fire over mountain. Now that we've influenced the 7th gram goes first. Now the 7th zygote goes first. Now we go to this eye, and this eye goes next, and then they all go up incrementally, influencing each other based on if it's a stable torus or unstable torus. If it's on its own color, it's stable. If it's not on its own color, it's unstable. And we see that none of these are on their own color, right, at the moment. So this is giving energy to this. So this would flip, and this would flip back. And based on those alternating polarities, now we have heaven over water, which would produce conflict, right? Proceeding upward. So we just did our assessment of this one. Now we look at this eye. This eye is looking at the root, right? And if it's looking at the root, then it's going to turn. It's not a stable torus because it's not on its own color. And the root's going to become established again. That produces the next hexagram. Boom. Innocence. Dun, 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 dun. Interesting. To be established in the truth, but to have no preconceived emotions or thought patterns is innocence. Isn't that interesting? I'm telling you, there's lots to be learned about these zygote when you know what you're looking at. So, let's continue up. Continue up our assessment. Now, these two just switched. So now we move upward, and this one is looking at this one. But they're the same, so nothing happens. And technically, this would produce a hue, potentially would produce a huegram. If you mix blue and green together, what color would that be? That would be a hue influence over here, if anything at all. Then we have the blue gram giving energy to indigo, but they're black dot, so that nothing happens, or there would be some type of huegram being influenced, some type of energy being influenced. That would be a combination of indigo and orange, but that's not determined right now. So then we have this indigo looking at this, right? So what does that mean? That means this is going to change position with this, right? It's going to reset it back. And if that happens, I may have written down my calculations a little bit wrong, but it may still be right on the website. Then this, am I doing these right? Let me double check. Oh yeah, this one right here is not supposed to be red eye right now at the moment. It's supposed to be whatever it was, because it wasn't a white eye that it was on. It was on something else. So let me check my notes. All right, let's backtrack and go through this omegagram process again. So we got our 7th die. It's looking at this one. So it's saying that the future is going to be this one, not the past. All right. So I can set this aside because that's what it's going to be. Now, the root is giving energy to that. So this goes on its blue-white color. All right, there we go. Boom. Now this will become back to its solid position. All right. Boom. Now we're at conflict again. All right, opposition. Now we move up the chakras. The root is giving energy to that. So that's going to switch. And that's going to switch. Remember, it's not that die, it's that one. Now we're at innocence. Now we move up to this. This is going to draw energy from that. That's what happened, is I accidentally skipped the calculating the yellow die. Then, all right, this is going to try to give energy to this, but it doesn't do anything. And this is going to try to, and then this is going to try to give energy to this, but doesn't do anything. And then this, oh yes, and this is going to try to give energy to this, and it should do something. Going back to the truth. And so, yes, and this leaves us with our final hexagram, where we have heaven over wind. Heaven over wind, right there. Preponderance of the great. Hallelujah. Heaven over wind. It really is, literally is. Heaven is the great, so wind would be preponderance of that. Yeah. Contemplation. And that was what came before. All right. Yes, because that transition right there. All right, so this is the final the final hexagram that is produced. It is all correct now. And what's even more interesting about this, like seeing it now, seeing the colors of it now, is even more interesting that the end result of this, preponderance of the great, is an alignment with one's identity and alignment with one's emotional state, which is the father and the mother principle, the view and the flow, the spirit of the father, the spirit of the mother. So preponderance of that great. If I were to preponder that great correctly, I would preponder the fact that I have a choice, a decision to make. And that's what all these dice represent, 7 different choices. And the choice that's closest to me to have a lower body alignment is the truth, right? Literally, it's right there. And so each one of these dice, this is not a purely deterministic nor purely divination system, but it actuates alignment. And what that means is that I can choose to and abide in the truth and thus bring this to alignment. The die doesn't say that this is going to come into alignment, but I can choose to abide in the truth, right? And if I abide in the truth, then we have 3 dice that will be aligned in the truth. And as soon as this would happen, technically, slowly but surely, these would all turn red, and they would then produce, they would all change to their natural perfect color, and it would produce a perfect hexagram, perfect alignment. So, very cool that this gave me an opportunity to introduce the new principle, or the next principle, and all these lessons, and that is choice. That we have the ability to choose how to act differently in regards to what these are and what they pertain to, and thus it can influence the dice. But if you don't have the knowledge of the kingdom of heaven and what to do to influence the dice, then you're screwed, aren't you? You get that knowledge at Yahweh.shop. Hallelujah. And of course, here's today's Zigo die reading that I use the website in order to decipher. Glory be to Yah. And may you enjoy all of this pretty soon. I'll have these dice for sale pretty soon. Glory be to Yah. Hallelujah.